Welcome back again, guys. In this episode, we'll be exploring the wild world of the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? So, without further ado, let's get straight to it, starting with the first story called, Am I the Asshole for not sharing anything with my wife after she opened our marriage? My wife, 40, and I, 40, are in an open relationship and not by my choice. She gave me an ultimatum, either divorce or poly. I don't want a divorce because of kids, so it's poly. It's been few days and I have come to certain conclusions. I want everything separate. She already pays half of everything, so it's not a big problem. I don't want our accounts shared, so I have decided to separate them. I want our bathrooms to be separate. I want our rooms to be separate. I don't want to do anything that will in any way benefit another man. I want her to buy and cook her own food because I don't want her to gain energy from food I made or bought and use that energy to fuck other men. I don't want to make coffee for her if it makes her feel better every morning and use that feeling to benefit other men. I don't even want to talk to her because I may make her feel good and another man benefit from it. I want our communications to be by text. I don't want to know if she is sick or anything. I don't want to know about anything. I just want her to exist in the home and not take anything from me. So I took her shit to the separate room and told her my conditions. I also told her that I want separate bank accounts and I am not answerable to her about my money, and she can do whatever she wants with her. Now she doesn't want to leave me alone, wants to talk about it and figure things out. I am not interested. Nothing I want is unreasonable in any way. I just don't want to benefit another man in any ways. Edit. Stop telling me to divorce. I am not going to be the one to disrupt the lives of my kids. I don't believe kids are better off being shuttled around every 2 days. Update. Update. Am I the asshole for not wanting to share anything with my wife after she opened our relationship? Someone DM'd me and advised me to tell everyone what she did. Her family, her friends, her coworker, neighbors, everyone. So I did. I wrote a message to everyone on my contact list. I wrote an email to her boss as well, and all people I could get an address from her company. I was locked in the room doing it, and she was outside begging me to stop. I refused to come out of my room, so she sent me this message. Wife, I gave you an option to divorce if you didn't want poly. Why did you have to destroy my life? Me. It will make your life easier. People won't assume that you are cheating when they catch you with other men. Wife. You could have just divorced me. You didn't need to do this. Me. Fine. Let's get a divorce. But you should be the one to tell the kids what to do. It's better that they know from you than anyone else. Wife. Let me in. I don't want poly, okay? Wife, I am sorry, let me in please. Me, you know the arrangement, only communication through texts. Feel free to talk about it to other men. Wife, I don't want poly, I am sorry. There is no other man? I haven't even talked to anyone else. Me, only communication with me through texts. Don't bother me otherwise. I muted her text after that. I have been through her Facebook page and finding other people she knows. I contacted her favorite high school teacher as well as her college mentor. I know it won't change anything because, except for ruining her reputation, people will move on with their lives, but I feel good to be able to tell people. I will have to figure out a way to tell the kids because they're definitely going to find out. No ways around it. I got a call from her father about how ashamed he is that he raised a daughter like him. He's very apologetic. He's a good man. Rest is not worth spending time writing about. That's an intense and messy situation. The way she forced the open relationship on you, expecting you to just accept it, is already a huge breach of respect. Your reaction of setting strict boundaries feels like the only control you could take back in a situation you never wanted. And then, when you exposed what happened, it clearly shook her more than she ever expected. It's raw, it's vindictive, but given the ultimatum she gave you, I can see why you felt pushed to that point. All right, let's move on to the next story. Am I the asshole for ignoring my ex's request for a sit-down talk between him, his wife, and me? I, 31F, have two kids, 11 and 9, with my ex, 33M. We were never married, and our relationship was never very good, so breaking up wasn't the worst thing that could have happened. For a while, it surprised me that he left first. I always suspected his wife was around before he left me. I know that two of them told me they were a couple less than 5 months after we broke up. And in that same conversation, they told me they were a team and everything going forward had to include her because the kids would know her as their second mom. They told me to get used to hearing her called mom because they would not stop it and would actively encourage it. I brought them to court and the judge added a clause about calling a step-parent or a partner mom or dad. This pissed them off, but they still tried to show off what they could do as a couple for the kids that I couldn't as a single mom. Ex's wife also told me that she would be the mother to their other siblings, and she was going to give my ex a bunch of babies, and that would win the kids over to her even more. She said she would be the preferred mom even if they never got to call her that. Or she said maybe they would, and my kids would hate me for separating them if I got so jealous. I spent a lot of years documenting and trying to stay calm for the sake of my kids. We used a co-parenting app for communication, and they still sent messages through that about how she'd be favored and things like that. They were scolded a number of times over it. A few years ago, I put my kids in therapy because I knew they picked up on the issues between the adults. My ex's wife never got pregnant. I know I'll sound petty when I say this, but it made me so happy after all the gloating, and said the kids would prefer her because she'd give them a lot more siblings. For a while, I noticed she was looking more and more depressed and desperate when no babies seemed to be born. Around July last year, my ex told me the kids would be with me for longer, and he would work out a makeup schedule later. I found out 6 weeks later that his wife had tried to take her own life and was in the hospital, and that it was triggered by the news she could not have biological children. She and my ex also told people that it was made worse by my son not drawing her in a picture of his family that same day at summer camp. I filed with the courts for a change in the custody agreement temporarily, and it was granted. She had to complete certain steps for the kids to go back into the house with her. My ex and her were unhappy, but since they used my kids as an excuse, I did not want to take any chances with them. She completed all the steps, and custody was returned to 50-50 in February of this year. Back in June, my ex suggested the three of us sit down and talk some things through. I told him anything that needed to be said could be done via the app. He said face-to-face was better, that they wanted to improve the relationships so that she could be an equal parent and family member to the kids. Both of them started info dumping about her inability to have bio kids and how it hurts her to know the kids don't see her as family. How they want us to put away the animosity so we can all be present and there for the kids. And that she realizes it won't happen while she hates my guts and wishes I would give the kids to her. I started ignoring the requests after first saying no because I do not think this will be a good idea and I do not trust them. They do not want us to do it over the app. The lucky thing for me is it's all in the app and there are some concerning comments like they would hope I would let go of the no calling a step-parent or partner mom or dad rule, and things of that nature. When I did not reply and agree to meet up, my ex started saying I was not putting the kids first and I needed to stop using everything against them in court. Am I the asshole? It sounds like you've dealt with years of boundary pushing, disrespect, and outright manipulation from your ex and his wife. And now they want a sit-down that seems more like a way to push their agenda than genuinely co-parent. Given their history of undermining you and the fact that they've used the kids as leverage in the past, your caution makes complete sense. Sometimes, no is the healthiest and safest answer, even if it's not what they want to hear. All right, let's move on to the next story.
Am I the asshole for calling a guy a sad and fat loser after he kept telling me how I am damaged good at 30 years old? I ended a 9-year-old relationship and started dating again. I installed Tinder, and for me it wasn't that bad as people say it is. I swiped left a lot, but the matches I had were good quality and most ended in dates. Not all dates went well, but none was a bad experience. I am a 30-year-old woman, and I look better than I did in my 20s. I am more fit, I have a better income, so I have better skin care, hair care, dress better, and I did well on Tinder. Yet this guy is trying to put me down all the time. He is my coworker, and we often talk with all my colleagues about personal stuff. With some I am friends. I started dating from Tinder a guy who is a business owner, has a good car, and is smart and good looking. We have good chemistry, read the same books, love the same old movies, and have the same values in life. I have met his friends already, and he wants me to meet his sister this weekend. He is my age more or less. I am 30 and he is 33. And this dude keeps telling me I am way too optimistic. At first, he just said Tinder doesn't work and women don't know how to talk. I saw his Tinder matches. He turned sexual with the women within 5 minutes. Before I met this guy, he also told me I have an age, and for most high-value guys, I am not even on radar because of baggage and the amount of men I must have been with before. LOL. I was with one, but even so, this guy I'm seeing now didn't even ask about it and doesn't seem to care about it. And my other male coworker showed me a text he received from this guy. The text said, "I pity her because she thinks that Chad wants her more than recreationally. If he didn't have money, she wouldn't have looked at him." And I said, he is what the title said. Not in his face, but in front of this other dude. I don't really get why guys, because this is the first time it happened to me, but I saw this attitude plenty of times, are obsessed with our age and calling us names and constantly put us down just because we also have preferences in men just like they do in women. Honestly, that guy was going out of his way to tear you down, unprovoked, and clearly projecting his own insecurities. You're dating someone who treats you well, you're thriving, and he can't handle it, so he resorts to age shaming and making up stories to diminish you. Calling him a sad and fat loser might not be the most diplomatic move, but after all his disrespect, I can't blame you for snapping. Some people just can't stand seeing others happy. Anyway, let's move along to the next story.
Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my mom's fiancé after she lied about her affair? My mom divorced my dad last year after over 30 years of marriage. During the divorce, my dad accused her of cheating and she denied it, saying she was just done. I defended her to him, insisting he accept that she was unhappy, which put a strain on my relationship with him. A month later, she told me she was going on a date. I was genuinely happy for her and supportive, from a distance. I even said hello to this new guy over FT. Over the next 2 months, it escalated quickly. Casual dating turned into trips, meeting his family, and planning a trip next year. Then it hit me. My mom had been having an affair long before leaving my dad. The man she was seeing had been married and left his wife for her. When I initially confronted her about the affair, she denied it, saying they only knew each other and talked now and then. I had to press her repeatedly before she admitted the truth. After she apologized, that slowly turned into her framing it as me needing to forgive her, telling me how unhappy she had been in the marriage, how she had been such a good mom, and that I could not understand what she had been through. That emotional manipulation, being forced to justify her actions while feeling guilty for questioning her, was even harder to process than the affair itself. I have been living abroad and have not seen my mom throughout any of this. We talk, though. 1 year later, and they are now engaged, and she expects me to meet her fiancé, actively embrace him, and attend the wedding. I want her to be happy, but my boundaries around this are firm. Am I the asshole for refusing to give my mom the active approval and participation she wants, even though I support her happiness from a distance? No, you're not the asshole here. You defended your mom when you thought she was being unfairly accused, only to later find out she'd been lying to you all along, and then try to guilt you into accepting it. It's not about holding a grudge forever. It's about protecting yourself from further manipulation and maintaining healthy boundaries. Supporting her happiness doesn't mean you have to play along like nothing happened or be part of a wedding you're not comfortable with. Well, that wraps up today's stories. Some of these were messy, some heartbreaking, and some just plain wild. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you're feeling cozy, relaxed, and maybe a little thankful your life isn't quite this dramatic. Until next time, Dasher.